Jake was born on August 5th, 2006 in Flemington, New Jersey. He's the youngest of 4 of our boys. From the moment he was born, he was under scrutiny by doctors. My husband, Paul, and I can remember sitting in our hospital room, waiting for the nurses to bring us our beautiful newborn. Instead, we would have the doctor enter the room, sit in a chair by our bedside, look at both of us, put his head in his hands, and cry. We were terrified. Hours later, we were finally given our baby boy to hold. Jake was born with 1 ear and a slew of other issues that we wouldn't know about at that time, and that would divulge later. The doctors insisted that our baby wouldn't be able to hear. After being told this repeatedly, I grabbed the doctor's clipboard, threw it down on the floor, and said, "He can hear." When the doctors saw the reaction, we knew we had some hearing, we just didn't know at what level. After being discharged from the hospital, Jake wasn't home 24 hours before we had to admit him to a neonatal intensive care unit at St. Peter's Hospital. Jake spent the first month of his life there. I stayed by his side every waking moment. Paul kept order at home with the other 3 children, Dylan, Timmy, and Casey. And I think we would all agree that that was the longest and scariest month of our lives. Finally, Jake was able to come home and we were a family. The next few months were spent running to one doctor after another. We finally found out that Jake was born with microtia and atresia, which means he was born with the absence of an outer ear and the external closure of an ear canal. When Jake was 2 months old, a very important decision had to be made. Were we going to raise him and be part of the deaf community and learn to use sign language to communicate with him, or were we going to seek the assistance of technology and have him fitted for some type of hearing aid so that he could learn to listen and talk? We decided we wanted him to live as close to a typical life as he could. That was when we were introduced to Summit Speech School and Ellen Hansen, the school's pediatric audiologist. After 5 minutes of talking with her and learning about the school, we got our first sign of relief that everything was going to be okay. Our favorite memory was sitting in a room with Ellen when she fitted Jake with his first bone-anchored hearing aid, also known as a Baha, as those of you at the school know. Witnessing Jake being able to hear our voices for the first time is not a memory that we'll ever forget, and we'll never not be able to thank Ellen for that. Ellen, thank you. There's no greater feeling in the world than to be told repeatedly that your child is not going to be able to hear, and then witnessing that. Many of you in Summit Speech School know that that's called being turned on, and I don't care how many videos that I see of other children, I'll never forget the moment that he laid on Paul's shoulder and we heard him hear us for the first time audibly at a level that we all can naturally hear at on our own. It was incredible. We are eternally grateful to Summit Speech School for everything that they've done for our baby. Even after that day, we really didn't understand how influential and important the school would be to Jake, but came away knowing that Jake would be considered a student of the school and the school would soon be considered part of our family. For the next few years, through the parent-infant program, Summit Speech School made sure Jake would acquire the listening and speaking skills to be ready to enter our school in our local town. Our family had the pleasure of working with Nancy Hovey, who is a teacher of the deaf, who would make frequent home visits. She actually came to our house 3 times a week for an hour a week. We didn't know it at the time, but she was an angel in disguise. At the age of 3, Jake started preschool in our district. That terrified us because we naturally assumed that he would go up to Summit Speech School. but he actually went in district at age 3. His teacher of the deaf, Lee Vandenberg, soon took over and taught Jake how to advocate for himself. At the age of 5, he was able to tell people how his hearing aids worked, how to change his batteries and his Bajas, strike up a conversation with people who stared at him and was wondering what could be wrong, but has always been a social butterfly and always educates his peers, his classmates, and everybody surrounding him. We attribute all of these abilities to Summit Speech School. Jake has always loved music. We knew he was musical from a very young age, even before he was fitted with hearing aids. I would talk and sing to him as much as possible so that I could encourage whatever hearing he had. I always knew he had a love for music. The first time I recognized his unique ability with music, he responded to my singing by turning his face in the bassinet, where he laid beside my bed. Soon after that, around 2.5 months old, as I was humming to him, he hummed a few bars back to me. I was astonished. I called Paul to come and see for himself, and sure enough, he did it again. Jake decided that music would be his focus. Doctors told us that he would never have normal speech, but early on, he was already singing. As new parents, you constantly want to encourage your children to do things that we want them to do. So naturally, we encouraged him to sing. After listening to him sing constantly, we knew that singing would be his calling and his gift. The whole time, we knew that there was only one organization responsible for giving him the ability to have the gift, and that's Summit Speech School. At the age of 8, we signed Jake up at School of Rock, which is where Jake, for the first time, met his music teacher, Steve Dinola. The two of them immediately formed a bond like no other. Jake could go there, take lessons, and sing with the band for the first time. He memorized songs and performed in his first shows. Since then, Jake has had the opportunity and the honor of doing multiple performances at Roxy and Dukes in Dunellen. He opened up for the band Kansas at the Balloon Fest in Flemington last year. He even performed at New York's Highline Ballroom. All of these things are huge accomplishments for a 9-year-old, but his greatest honor is today to be asked to represent Summit Speech School and perform with Rock and Roll Hall of Fame musician Max Weinberg. Sometimes, things change you in a way that make it impossible for you to ever go back to the way you were before. For me, it was the birth of our son, Jake. When Jake came to us, he came to us without warning. We laid eyes on this teeny tiny, beautiful baby that we loved so much, but we weren't told congratulations. We were told to call our minister and to gather our family. We were told he would never hear our voices and would most likely be blind, have severe mental retardation. They said, love him, try to make a connection with him while he's here. We have never felt so lost, alone, and broken in our entire lives, and nothing mattered to us but his care and finding answers. Then I became obsessed with researching. That's all I did. When I wasn't with him in the hospital, all I did was research. I didn't even sleep. And that research brought me to Ellen at Summit Speech School. The first words that she ever spoke to us when we met Or congratulations, he's beautiful. And he was almost 2 months old, and it was the first time somebody ever even said congratulations to us. Everything is going to be okay. We grasped onto that comfort and security and ran with it and never looked back. From the first telephone call that I made to this woman, she comforted me in a way that I needed so desperately. For the first time, someone believed me and told me I wasn't crazy, that I was in fact right all along. Yes, he could hear. Yes, he'll hear better, and yes, I'll help you. The support that she has given us has been continual from that point on. From audiology exams to frantic calls from Children's Hospital of Philadelphia in the middle of the night with a toddler that was in dire straits. Through tears and triumph, her knowledge, wisdom, love has guided us through some of the darkest moments of our lives. That's not a job. What this woman has done for our family and what these teachers have done for him is immeasurable. You can't put a price on it. We could never express the love or put a price on the worth of what Summit Speech School has done for us or has given to us as a family. We have a son far beyond his years musically, intellectually, and definitely spiritually. Without being introduced to hearing aids at such an incredibly early age, and without the love and support he has gotten from all of the people that you have heard us mention here today, there is no doubt in my mind that he would not have been able to meet his full potential. He has his whole life and a very bright future to look forward to. Because of Nancy, Ellen, and Lee, he has the abilities to do so. How do you as a parent give thanks for something like that? It is with humble thanks and great appreciation that I thank Summit Speech School for giving us the opportunity to celebrate with you today and share Jake's triumphs on his journey thus far. I can only imagine the things that he has in store for us moving forward. Thank you.